Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining my report out of the hero's journey. Just finished the training with George over the past several weeks, and a little bit about my background. I work for a company called Dark Container. If you have heard of the famous red Solo cup, Dark Container owns Solo, and we do packaging and containerization. And I'm the engineering capital programs director. So any of the new launches and new projects, my team manages. So welcome and thank you for joining. All right, so we're going to get started. So this is my ordinary world. I am in chaos, not visible chaos, but functional chaos. The chaos that lacks structure. I drive 180 miles a day for work. I have 4 kids, a wife, long days. We'll have soccer, volleyball, basketball, dinners. My typical day, I go to work, I do work, I go home, I scarf down food. If it's not fast food, I have a little bit of time, but I'm busy all the time, yet disconnected from myself. I have flashbacks when I was an Iron Man, ripped. I had structure, I had clarity, but now that structure has gone. It's quietly slipped out, and I'm in the reacting mode instead of leading. I'm moving, but not intentionally. This is my ordinary world. The call to adventure. Time is not guaranteed. I am not invincible. I get a call, and the call comes very suddenly. A close friend, my best friend, has a heart attack. He has a 99% blockage. He's a guy who's my age, who's athletic, who's strong. He survives, but this was a huge wake-up call, not a subtle one. It hits me very, very hard. All the what ifs start flooding in my mind. Every little pain in my chest becomes an issue. It's like the little angel on my shoulder is whispering to me, it's time. My mind starts recalling my health, being there for my kids when they grow up. I have so much to give my family. I know I need to be there for them. I start to take inventory of my life. I realize that time is not guaranteed. I know if I'm not moving forward, I'm moving backwards. Health is not something that I can assume. It's a gift. And waiting is something that is costing me, and it's time, something that I can't replace. So I make a career change so I don't have to be on the road 3 hours a day. I get back to being there for my family. I need to do something big to drive me forward, a big goal to flip the switch. Urgency alone doesn't sustain the action. My friend's heart attack is not going to push me along. I know that systems create the action. So I do what anyone with time on their hands would do, and I sign up for a 100-mile race. I need a big goal, something that can drive that sense of urgency, something that's going to pull on structure, and something that really feeds my identity. This call isn't just about the race, but it's about a symbol, which is the Huron 100, which is a trail race, 100-mile trail race, point to point. And really the symbol is a call to reclaim structure, discipline, direction before it's too late. This is my call to adventure. So my refusal of the call. I've tried this before. I've done 100-mile races before. I've done ultra marathon, road races and trail races. I know I can do this. I start planning towards my goal for my race. If I'm going to finish, I know I need organization. I know that resistance is going to show up. I know that the day after I wake up, it's going to be buyer's remorse. And that's what sets in. And immediately I hear that voice, that little devil on the shoulder saying, I don't have the time. I've tried this before. This won't last. The voices are familiar. The commitment just is not fully there. I've done the same routines like in the past, and those comforts are calling my name to fall into all the old planning phases. The dullness does not excite me. I don't feel challenged. You think a big race would challenge someone, but it's too predictable. It's not stimulating enough. My brain is on autopilot. Am I moving forward? The work travel and family commitments, they're still exhaustion. Those are all reasons to stay where I'm at. The chaos is very familiar. Change feels risky. This is the refusal. Meeting the mentor. I met George a few months ago. He's a continuous improvement connoisseur. I love the process of getting better. I love continuous improvement. I love standards. I meet George. He doesn't promise me motivation. He offers a system that elite athletes such as Shohei Ohtani uses. And I figure if that can help Shohei, it can help me. It's called the Harada Method, and it contains the OW64, the daily diaries, routines, and this is a deliberate system. Immediately that appeals to my identity. I love the structure. There's no hype, no shortcuts. George starts to challenge my status quo, which is stop trusting your feelings, trust the system, this is Kaizen applied to the self. Focusing on the journey and enjoy that. I'm a little nervous, but I stay. I like seeing immediate results, but this is trusting, my faith. And this is meeting the mentor. Crossing the threshold. So I commit. I love systems. I'm going all in. I know it's going to help all areas of my life, my health, work, family, finances. I know this is something that's going to pull it all together. The structure, it gives me confidence in moving forward. Not that when I'm ready, but when, not when systems or conditions improve, but that if I do this on a day-to-day, I know that I'll help define who I am. I start to define my purpose. I start to align my goals, my milestones. I actually go through and use AI to really help me on all my inputs for my OW64. And I start to pick that for the race. I start to build those routines and taking a full system approach. I stop negotiating with emotions and start acting with faith and having intentional behaviors. This is crossing the threshold. The tests arrive immediately. Starting a new job is very, very demanding. Getting used to how things are done. There's new people, there's new systems, there's new industries. Life is very full. I love it. My kids are into every sport possible. There's a sense of excitement, yet there's fatigue, and it shows up daily. But the real enemy reveals itself very quickly, especially after the novelty fades, and that is self-sabotage. I get up early, per my plan. I sit there and I delay the workout. I wait. I read the morning news. I go on social media, and it's all pretending that I'm just waking up. Time is winding down, and I start just late enough to not complete my full plan. And immediately on my shoulder, the devil whispers, "You didn't do your full workout. You might as well start tomorrow and go full out. Go 0 to hero." And that's where the cycle starts. If I didn't get a good workout in, I might as well start tomorrow. Might as well start to go all out. And I decided to have a nice free day of binging on 2 liters of Mountain Dew, pizza, ice cream, and of course, it all feels amazing, right? Freedom. The real antagonist isn't work, it's time, it's family, it's identity drift, it's self-sabotage. But there's allies. I have my family, I have my friend Salim, who had his heart attack. I have my team at work, and then I have George, as well as I have this disciplined version of myself that I used to have that I know exists. And that there's another version of me that is the one who delays just long enough for the excuses to win. These are my tests, my allies, and my enemies. Preparation. The approach to the innermost cave. The approach is the preparation. The Harada Method focuses you on your past wins and failures and forces you to write down countermeasures. It's its way of structure versus chaos, identity versus emotion, and process versus all or nothing mentality. So my past failures of not planning, fail to plan, plan to fail comes to mind, along with self-sabotage are things that I need to counter. Those are all things for planning my week, my routine, being able to speak to myself before the doubt arrives. I allow myself now time to wake up, but I'm going to limit social media use after work. To beat the boredom, I create a game from my OW64. It's called the Dice Game, which I pick a workout from the OW64, and whatever I roll is what I do. So novelty is created, and my mind is focused, and the reward instantly takes hold. Self-talk becomes my armor of this is who I am, this is what I do, and preparation replaces hope. This is the approach. The ordeal. The ordeal is not dramatic. It's just like compound interest that doesn't take hold for some time. It's a very subtle, very slight, whisper. I wake up early to train. I delay. I move slowly. I run out of time. I break promise to myself, and that triggers this all or nothing mindset. If I can't do something perfectly, then why do it at all? And that cycle of self-sabotage, delay, collapse is something that has controlled me for years. Flashbacks of trying to have the perfect basketball shot and training to that, or the perfect golf swing and trying to follow that exact routine to a T. I'll get results. But if I break once, I start all over again. The commute into work, that's not the villain. The absolute absence of structure is. I crave structure because structure equals identity. So I know if I go all in and fail, it threatens the disciplined identity that I value, and the delay becomes the protection. This is the ordeal. Death. Death, all or nothing, must die. This is my lowest point. I see the truth clearly. Failure is not the problem. The fear of imperfection is. It's not, being elite. It's feeling invalid. My brain equates the precision equals control, which also equals safety. The problem isn't, is my inability to reset. The all or nothing mindset waits for imperfection and then shuts down everything once it happens. If I break a routine, my brain says we lost control. We must reset everything. This is why binge behavior follows the delay, because it's not weakness, it's a reset attempt. That mindset must die, and it must happen now. This is the death. The rebirth is simple and profound. I stop trusting the feelings. I trust the system. I accept imperfect execution. I reset immediately, and then I keep moving forward. Failure becomes the feedback, not the verdict. I learned to enjoy the journey and not obsess over the destination. I focus on progress over perfection. The 1% each day, not massive change. Daily PDCA by following my routines and following my daily diary. Those are the 1% better each day, not the massive swings. This is the rebirth. The reward. Order returns. The Harada Method restores order. Can I build discipline without needing chaos? That's the next evolution from reactive discipline after the scare from my buddy to chosen discipline, because that's who I am. Momentum builds, routines that I've created and stabilize, confidence in myself and the system grows, which allows me to show up better for my family, my work, and myself. No, not perfectly, but consistently. One step at a time, moving forward. This is the reward. The road back. Oop. Road back. I returned to the world it was something new. It's not a motivation, but a system. The Harada system gives clarity. The OW64 has helped me to align around things I need to do. The routines create that daily action, that daily discipline for myself. The daily diaries create the reflection, which allows me to mini Kaizen my life. I don't judge my days, I learn from them. This is the road back. The system doesn't prevent failure, it absorbs it. The resurrection. Progress over perfection. My identity changes. I am someone who strives and resets. I reflect instead of react. I accept a failure without abandoning myself or my goal or my system. I continue to move forward, getting comfortable with being uncomfortable. The system doesn't prevent failure. It helps absorb it, you learn from it, and you move forward. This is the resurrection. The return to Elixir. So what I bring back? I bring back progress over perfection, reflection over judgment, a system that works in chaos and absorbs it. The all or nothing mindset is gone, no longer runs my life. The journey doesn't end here, it begins today. And that is my return with the Elixir. And finally, my new status quo. The all or nothing man had to die so a systematic man could live. I say that again to myself. The all or nothing man had to die so a systematic man could live. I realized that the 100 miles isn't a test of my perfection. It's a test of my resilience, the ability to fail, to recalibrate, and to keep moving forward. A life lesson. Using the Harada Method hasn't just given me a training plan, but has given me a way to reclaim my time for functional chaos that nearly swallowed me. No longer have to wait for the perfect conditions. I no longer have to wait for that hero moment. I just trust my daily diary, my routine, and every small win of Kaizen to carry me forward. As I stand on that starting line of the Huron 100, I know I'm not the same man reacting to life's demand. I'm the leader of my own discipline, and I'm back to being present for myself, my family, and I'm anchored in structure that can't be shaken by a bad workout, by a bad day. And I know that the race will end, but the system remains, and this is my new ordinary world.
Good job, man. Okay, let's get everybody on video, on audio, and it's your turn now to ask questions. So, Clarence, why don't you shoot the first one out?
You want me to stop sharing, George?
Yeah, you could stop sharing, but
okay.
They might ask to go back to a slide.
Ah,
Mm.
got it.
but that's okay.
No, no. Oh, well, thank you. It's been a very inspiring. I'm actually similar to what I'm going through as well. It's how I see life as what you see in terms of my journey. Uh, just a few general questions I have. In terms of going through this whole journey, how do you feel in terms of of what's inside you? Because it's besides a physical thing, it's more of a emotional and inside it's what they call
Yeah.
you're in transitional state. So
Hmm.
how do you manage that in terms of wherever you, because you constantly will need to change, do you gauge, reflect, and take note of what you change
Yeah.
mainly.
Yeah, that's a good question. Honestly, I think one of the things that transition for this whole project um, is the daily diary gives me the opportunity to kind of plan the day and being in project management, it appeals to me, right? You have a plan, you have a goal, you lay it out, you go after it. The daily diary is a constant reflection, so you're going through your plan and you're reflecting on what did you learn, what did you do well, what can you do better, and it's that little small continuous improvement to help you get better. And it could be just a small, a small little thing like, I put on my clothes, the next day I have everything out there, which took 2 minutes the night before, but it saved me 10 minutes of scrambling in the morning, or
Mm,
it could be as simple as, writing notes, during our daily meetings as a team. I'm gonna be a servant leader. I'm gonna, push push from the rear, but I'm gonna lead from the front. And it's taking those little reflections of things that I could have done better, and using that to move me forward and move my team forward, move my family forward. And you have a basically a journal of the history of what happened throughout the month, what happened throughout the week, and what happened throughout the day.
good. Uh, you mentioned a lot about all or nothing. That's what's previously you had in your mind.
Hmm.
Uh, how would you live with that? I mean, it's not something that you just eliminate from your mind, but how you deal to manage it whenever you have a setback. Oh, you didn't make the day. Do you
Yeah,
have specific ritual or tricks that you take?
yeah. It's funny because the all or nothing mentality is, if something's not worth doing, it's not worth, it's worth overdoing. Some of the mantras that I used to use in the past.
Mm,
And if if I have a plan and then I don't do that plan all out, or, let's say if I'm going to run, 5, 10 miles or whatnot, if I do 4 miles, it's still a good workout. Like there's things that you can learn and you can take away and you can build upon.
mm,
The numbers is there to help drive,
mm,
to a plan. But it's not so much about the, whether you hit the number or not. It's again going back to that reflection of, okay,
mm,
what did you learn? What can you do better on? And so it goes from that all or nothing mentality of, you have to, you have to go all in. You have to be perfect. You have to have, that mindset, to these big swings of, okay, you were good that day and you didn't do good the next day, so you might as well throw that day away, start all over again tomorrow. That's not life. You can't. There's no perfect person.
mm,
You have to learn to absorb it, to learn from it, and to move forward.
mm. One last thing. You mentioned about using AI to draw your 64 plan. Have you
Hmm.
used it any further than that? I'm talking from experience point of view. having a bit of a hard time in transition. Also, I have my own 64 plan currently in execution for this year. Coach George would know. I'm actually using it as a way to motivate me. It's like almost like a manager of my life on a daily basis in terms of motivating if there's questions I ask them. I just want to understand how have you used it in anything further than to do your 64 plan?
Yeah, I mean, I've used it, previously for like Ironman, and I've done currently going through coaching, so coaching two individuals on my team, and picking a goal that might be out there, 3 to 5 years. How do you break that down in order to come up with a plan? And so using the OW64 with AI, it allows you to come up with ideas and thoughts and see if they apply to what your goal is. It's not going to give you the answer because it's not cookie cutter. And that's what I use multiple AIs because I wanted to be able to have a good blend and not just trust one. But it's good data in, good data out. So I used it at work, in trying to figure out, a kind of a longer term goal to help drive, our team forward. And, it didn't give me everything I was looking for, but that's the good news is it gives you a starting point to have those conversations with your team or, your manager and can set you forward with your plan.
Yeah, it's a starting point to execute. Ultimately, it's based on how you deliver it. Anyway, it's been inspiring. It's actually given me some inspiration as well. I'm stacking on myself as well. Myself being a runner as well, I'm inspired to do Ironman as well. So,
wow,
there you go.
Good,
That's
Clarence.
awesome.
Thank you, Clarence, for that. Raj, you're up.
Sure. So I appreciate you sharing. That was really cool. I just remember when I was doing this, I had to do it with a team of colleagues. I could only imagine how like things you're sharing instead of doing with people you might not know like me. I think I appreciate that. It was really good. It was inspiring too. I like the system creates a thriving life. I think it's a good thing to remember, especially when, even though for me, no matter how good a system is, right, chaos always interferes with it. So how do you go back to that? I think that was a good takeaway for me, at least for where I'm at right now. But my question would be, like hearing it, your journey was really cool. I would say, what would be that one routine that you think made the biggest impact in a journey?
Yeah. So, you think like when I was talking about getting up and kind of the self-sabotage portion, I had to set rules and I needed to make sure that, I'm sitting there. I didn't give you the kind of my full routine, but I get up, I take my, pre-workout, drink some water. I go downstairs. I have a little red light, near infrared light that I flip on. I turn on the heater, and I'm waking up. Okay, well, it's easy just to sit there and get engulfed in social media and what's going on with the world, to the point where it's that all or nothing. Like, okay, I'm supposed to do 5 miles. I know the time. I can't do it, and I can't run that fast enough to get that 5 miles in. So, I delay just long enough. Well, one of the rules that I put in place was I'm not going to look at social media in the morning. I'll wake up, I'll have 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and then it's go time. And so I make that rule to myself, and I don't break that promise. And that's worked out great. It's been 52 some days of doing it.
Nice.
The other thing that I would say, the dice game. So when I told George about this, I think he knew that I wasn't 100% committed, and it's that novelty piece. Like, okay, you've done this, you've had a plan, you go through the plan, there's no novelty at all, right? It's not really moving me, it's not pushing me. But what I did was, after talking with George, I'm like, I have this corner of my OW64 that is things that I know I need to do. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick those items and I'm going to create a game around it. I'm going to roll the dice. And the dice is going to be one of those workouts. And I know it's going to suck, it's going to be bad, but I know I need to do it. And if I do it, I roll dice a second time, and on that is 3 rewards, whether it's a skip challenge or I might have the special treat on the weekend or something. Or there might be a couple that are challenges. Like I might do another 100 squats, or I might, go in the cold plunge. So that game created the novelty that was just enough to push me over to let the systems kind of develop and keep me motivated. I think those 2 things were probably the biggest anchor through this journey.
Cool. That's really cool. Thanks for
Yeah,
sharing.
well said. And it's, I don't know why you missed this, but for me, the biggest part was like you noticed in your research that if somebody has music and they run to music all the time, then all of a sudden they don't have music during the actual event. That'll throw them off completely.
Yes.
So we said, like, put a countermeasure in place, because doing it sometimes without music, and that's one of your tasks, I believe,
That's
or
right.
routines.
Yeah.
Doing it without music, that will at least prepare you mentally for if it happens during the race.
That's right. Yeah, George, you're absolutely right. It's not, if it's going to happen, it's when it's going to happen. It's a 100-mile race, trail race, up and down hills. It's going to be 24 hours plus. My goal is under 24 hours. There's not one single headphone that can go through 24 hours. So I'm not going to sit there and stop to charge it. So I got to adapt,
Yeah, unless you bring like maybe one is bring a backpack with an electronic charger, but
Yeah.
so that's important. The other thing is, you said you did this before. Did you do the 100 miles before? I don't think so, right? This is the first time you're doing 100 miles.
So I've done, actually I've done multiple. I've done
100 miles.
100-mile road races, 150-mile road races,
So
100
have I,
mile.
but that's on a bike or like in a car.
Yeah. This is running. Yep. This is
Wow,
running.
good for you, man. That's
Yeah.
amazing. Okay. All right, Kyle, last but not least, and then we'll wrap it up.
All right. Ryan, congrats. This has been really inspiring, as others have said.
Yeah.
Really
Thank you.
appreciate you sharing your story, and I've got some notes I've made for some questions I thought I could ask. Was there anything that you can recall happening? Like, was there a moment, an aha moment, or something through this training that you remember your mind shifting away from that all or nothing mentality?
Yeah. So on one of our sessions, George and I were talking through that, like what is that, where does that come from? And, how do you build routines around that? And how do you reflect on that? How do you use the daily diaries to kind of push back? It's kind of funny because, he's like, that's it. I couldn't really come up with the all or nothing. But he's like, that's what it is. That's what's gotta die. It's about imperfection. It's not being perfect, and so it's kind of funny. I don't think I ever told George this, but later on that night, I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna have a pizza, I'm gonna have some ice cream, you know, I'm gonna purposely fail, you know, and it's gonna be all right. It's gonna be okay. I'm gonna reflect on it and then I'll move forward, you know. So yeah, I think at the point where it was like the aha was you know, in discussions with George on, you know, reflecting on my daily diaries of, you know, like that one perfect, you know, you're not gonna have a perfect day, but the system has to absorb it, and your daily diary is your reflection on what you're gonna do better, because you're not gonna be perfect. So there's always gonna be something that you're gonna have to work on, you know, and that's the mini Kaizen. So that was really it, but.
Yeah.
So George, just FYI, you allowed me that opportunity to have some pizza that night.
Awesome. So, is there any this training that you've done? How many, I guess, days or months has this training from when you started? How long have you been on this for Harada?
Yeah, so we started, I think, in October,
Okay.
and it was, you know, slow at first because, you know, the commitment, you know, wasn't fully there. But then we started to really pick it up in November, and we hit it, you know, a couple hours a week diving into it. And, you know, now the interest has spread throughout my team, and looking forward to the kind of next evolution, which is the coaching aspect.
So you mentioned your team. So you're talking about at work. So now your training is now going to impact others at work.
Yeah. And yes, at work. And then the interesting thing, or I think I know where you're going with this. So there was one time when George and I were talking, and I have two twin daughters, and they are 10 years old. So they love to interrupt our meetings, and George is very, very good with you know, flexing. So they would come up, jump right up, and they'd start talking to George. And you know,
is it Emma? Emma's the soccer player.
Lila.
Yeah, Lila was doing her 64 chart. So
yeah, so that's what Kyle. What we did is we actually put together a 64 chart right then and there. Her goal is to be a college soccer player, and so yeah, we put that together and started you know, using that to build routines, and so it not only affects you know work, but it's affecting my family as well.
Good. Do you feel like you had any tools that could help your family in that way before Harada, or did this add new tools that maybe you didn't even know you could use before?
Yeah, so I think everyone, you know, has learned about SMART goals and kind of driven to that. And I've always been kind of a connoisseur of continuous improvement and learning about that and trying to impact that. But I think using the OW64 in really putting that to practice of, you know, here's the, you know, an all-encompassing view, and then reading how, you know, it's not just about that specific portion, but it's a whole system. So, you know, the Harada Method, you know, when Takeshi Harada implemented it, you know, with, you know, those in Japan, it was, you know, home life, right? You know, a good home life. So, you know, I started looking at that. Okay, if, you know, I have this goal, what are those things at home that I can do to get better and to be a servant to drive me to that goal? And so, you know, I've always had systems, and I've always done routines. It was very easy for me to come up with routines. And I would say out of those 64, probably, I don't know, 60 of them are routines. So it was very easy for that, but it didn't allow me to kind of look at the whole system. Or in my past life, you know. So this allows me to kind of take a structured approach and really break down a goal, and then to use the daily diary for that PDCA version. So yeah, I think that was probably the biggest difference, just those two alone, along with the coaching, of course.
Yeah. On that note, You talk a lot about having systems and routines and being able to rely on these things to help you achieve what you want, and your mindset has changed. Do you feel like this is something that whether it's to start or to keep it going, do you feel like it's something that someone could do on their own, or do they need someone else around them to somehow support or to be doing it along with them?
Yeah, I think you need a team. I mean, I think in life we're not supposed to do life, in a silo or in a vacuum. I think that's where, it's good to be vulnerable. It's good to have someone to be there that you can, do life with, and you can help, push you and kind of guide you. Sports, it's a great, metaphor, because you have your system, and you're going to have a coach there, whether it's, your food or, whatever that specific sport is. I mean, you have multiple coaches to help you get better. And I think that's the key is, don't try to do it alone, but, have a good structure, have a good team. You got to have a good tribe that's going to help push you forward.
My last question is, if you have any advice for anyone that might see this, or we might talk to outside of this video or this meeting, what advice might you give someone that gets them to start doing something like the Harada Method without needing like a major health scare to get them to start?
Yeah. I mean, I think the hesitation, a lot of people might hesitate at first to go all in. You don't have to, again, it goes back to, being perfect. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to, be at the perfect time. The perfect plan only exists in the planning room, and life, it hits you, right? Mike Tyson's famous quote, everyone has a plan until they get punched in the face. You don't have to wait until the perfect time, because that's the biggest lie is, you have time, and then you wake up and it's like, where did the time go? And you don't have to have a friend that has a massive heart attack, 99% blockage, do it. It sometimes, God does that and gives you that wake up call. But you don't have to wait. You don't have to be, it doesn't have to be the perfect time. So go all in, fail, but as long as you keep moving forward, it's not failure.
Very good. Thanks, Ryan.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Ryan, for everything. That's about it. But do you have questions of any of the other coaches, Ryan, or any questions of myself? Next step is to get your 2 students started. So that'll be next week.
Yeah. So for those that are into coaching, George and I are going to be working through coaching a couple of my students. Any advice?
Yeah, this goes to both yourself, Kyle, and Raj.
Yeah, I guess one of the things that comes to mind right away is to just resist giving them any answers and allowing them to figure it out. That's the one tip that I might share. I don't know, Raj? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say preparation is always key, right? But then you always get punched in the face, right? Like you just said. So the question part is important. Like I would always try to imagine what that coaching is going to look like that when I spend that time with them, and then try to figure out what questions I might ask. Now, that way I'm, to Kyle's point, like I was usually good at giving answers, right? But then that put me in a mode of like visualize what that coaching will look like, what the end is going to look like, and then what questions I would ask during it. I think that's something I learned from George, and I learned through getting punched in the mouth enough, if you will, right? So coaching, that was a good learning for me. And that's how I would say, like, right, visualize what that looked like. But
yeah, punching in the mouth is figurative. I didn't do any of that, just so we're
clear.
You
didn't do that. It's hard for me to do that.
I think it was his people, maybe, but
yeah.
Okay, so that's our wrap up. Clarence, any last words, and then we'll wrap up.
No, not really. But I think Ryan's going to be we're going to all learn from each other. Is just very inspiring. And another thing that's Ryan talk about, you need to do it as a community. Is use the app. I think I've been quiet in the app as well, but then I start looking at posting things, and then it's only me and George that's been looking at my things as well. I just lay a slack off a bit, but I think the app is a good way to support each other. As I always talk to George, I'm not sure if it reverberates with the rest of the group. After all, I mean, if you are busy, Ryan, we can always chip in and help. Myself included. Yeah.
Maybe on that point that Clarence brings up about the community, if you're doing this with your coaching people at work, for example, something that we've found works for us is that we've baked it into existing recurring meetings that we had. So whether it's every Monday recurring meeting or every monthly review, we have certain times where we just add to our agenda. Let's review our 64 charts together, or let's review things, whether it's a weekly cadence or monthly, and just make sure that it's baked in. So it's not something you need to remember to do, but it's something you're encouraging people to just make it feel like it's just a part of their regular cadence of their routine of their life.
That's
Yeah,
good. Great
Raj
advice.
is agreeing. Okay. Thank you very much, everybody. Thanks for coming. Thank you, Ryan.
Thank you.
All the best. We'll
Thank
chat again
you,
soon.
everyone.
Okay.
Thank you, Coach Ryan.
Appreciate it.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.